Now, the third way in which we've often seen a missed opportunity is where leaders are struggling to inspire and motivate their employees when addressing their low performance or when they have resistance to change. So it's difficult, right? If the proof is in the pudding. If you're not getting the most out of your people and the results that you want, how do you motivate? How do you still keep them inspired to continue on and to improve and to ultimately grow, right? So the first thing I want you to consider is to always focus on their strengths, right? It's similar to what I said earlier about the feedback sandwich, but you really want to remind them of the things that you see that maybe there are areas that you see as their strengths, but they're not exactly leveraging in themselves, right? It's a lot different when other people reflect on the strengths that we have, and communicate that to us when we're doing our jobs, right? It just has a different impact when we hear it from somebody else, and so you want to remind them of that, and to maybe even use real life practical examples where you've seen that they could leverage their strengths and they're not. Right, which might be contributing to their low performance. Now, you also want to segue, again, this is a motivation and inspiring discussion, right? So you also want to ask them and bring into the conversation growth opportunities, right? What are some growth opportunities that you see that they can take on? Now, we're not talking on, necessarily giving them a brand new project or something that is, way above their comfort level because you really want to make sure that they grow. I'm talking about maybe delegating, maybe a new responsibility, maybe bringing them in on having them sit in on your meeting so they can hear some of the business side or conversations that they're normally not privy to. That would be sort of shadowing you, right? I'm talking about growth opportunities that you're even asking, what are some areas that you think that you would perform well in? What are some areas that you would like to learn or grow in? What are some training opportunities, right? So this absolutely, just by simply asking that question, would motivate and inspire your employees. And I do want to share that when, we do coaching here and In Our Shoes, and one of the things that is so effective when you're coaching someone, and this goes for anybody that you're coaching, is to really, throw out there what we like to call a pattern interrupt, right? Share something that you see, call them out on something that you feel might be holding them back with. Simply calling out what you see is not working, right, can almost be like a wake-up call. It's breaking the common pattern that they've been following in terms of their work, in terms of their relationships, right? You might call them out on something that, hey, I noticed that you often like to silo yourself or work independently when we're working on this project, right? That might be something that they're perfectly comfortable doing. It might be something that they have no issue with, but as their leader, right, kind of pulling them out of that comfort zone and having them maybe share some of their progress or, collaborate with others on the team, right? You might see that as something that would be very beneficial to them because it would sort of open them up, and it is uncomfortable if they primarily tend to work privately and independently. So that would be a pattern interrupt. It would get them a little bit out of their comfort zone, but it would also help them grow. And that, in a nutshell, is motivating, right? They may not love it, right? It's that old adage, yet sometimes we have to give just a little bit of tough love to see a new set of results, right? And so as a coach, that's really what we're here for. Whether you're coaching your people, whether you're coaching children or whoever it is, right? We have to call out the things that we're seeing on the outside as that third party, and then offer some suggestions on how we see that some change and new actions would benefit them to see a new and different set of results. So that's also motivating. Sometimes you get what you need, not necessarily what you want, and that's really a coach's job. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. I'm Marissa Santoro from In Our Shoes. We are corporate leadership training and development practice, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.